I've seen multiple people shapeshift into reptilians, not just one.
Do not watch this alone. I know each and every day we go through the darkest TikToks to ever exist, but what if I told you they just got even darker? And I know what you may be thinking, Sean, how are we gonna get even darker than usual? It's because I'm pushing the limits of how dark TikTok could really get, and you're gonna come along with me. Yes, you don't get scared now. You know what you signed up for. You clicked on the video, so don't run now. And make sure you watch till the end of the video because this is gonna change your reality. And don't watch alone because this is gonna get terrifying. What's even scarier than the TikToks we're about to watch today is the fact that 60% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe for more scary videos. Thank you.
Final question, is there anything that you may want to confess tonight?
I keep everything right here.
There you go.
Or right here.
There you go. That's how you do it, right? Y'all having a
3 days after the release of the docuseries on Diddy, everyone is shocked because 50 Cent has more dirt on Diddy than the FBI. We had never seen anything like this. And when I say he has dirt, I mean videos and audio recordings 30 years old, never seen by anyone before now. He has footage from Biggie, from Tupac, and even one of the most mind-blowing recordings ever heard, coming from a Diddy associate, telling the police what really happened the night Tupac died. The first 2 episodes don't talk about his trial or the accusations. They show who Sean Combs really was, behind the polished image he showed the public. But above all, they show his involvement with Tupac, Biggie, and their deaths. What stands out the most is that Diddy was someone deeply jealous and spiteful, who manipulated everyone around him. He always wanted to be the biggest, and he especially hated seeing the people around him succeed. That explains perfectly why he was so jealous of Tupac. At that moment, Tupac was everything Diddy wasn't. Believe it or not, Tupac and Biggie got along well at first. But seeing that, Diddy tried to get involved and start working with Tupac, except Tupac refused. He didn't care at all about working with Diddy and only wanted to collaborate with Biggie. And that's when Diddy launched the war between the West Coast and the East Coast. I'll let you imagine what happened after that. I seriously think you should watch these 4 episodes yourself. There's never before seen footage you are absolutely not prepared for.
Okay, but are we really surprised? I mean, when you get 100 new cases in one day, we got to start asking some real questions here. But yeah, I'm not really too surprised that he's getting exposed because bro is clearly a super freak. I think they just need to keep Diddy and, you know, the world will be a much safer place.
This is probably the craziest Titanic story I've ever heard. When the Titanic sank in 1912, there were a lot of rich people on it, including Isidor Straus. Who was he? Straus was one of the co-founders of Macy's. In fact, he was so influential, he was offered a spot on a Titanic lifeboat, but refused because they were for women and children. So what happened? Well, Straus stayed behind and died. His body was recovered a few weeks later, and his gold pocket watch, which had stopped at 2:20 a.m., was just sold for a record-breaking $2.3 million. But the crazy story has to do with his wife. Ida Straus refused to leave her husband's side and died with him on the Titanic. But the couple had 7 children and eventually many great-great-grandchildren, including a woman named Wendy Rush. Who is she? Wendy Rush was the husband of Stockton Rush, a man who founded a deep-sea tourism company. Sadly, Stockton Rush died in 2023 when his submarine imploded while visiting the Titanic. The name of his company? OceanGate. And you can follow me for more interesting videos.
Obama is distantly related to 6 presidents: George W. and George H.
Fox
W.
News,
Bush,
kid.
Gerald Ford, Lyndon
They all
Johnson,
look the same, too.
Harry S. Truman,
What?
and James
Bush, Cheney, Obama, cousins, blood. They share blood. Okay? Dynasties, kid.
President
Pharaonic
Bush-
bloodlines, bro. Evil shit, bro. Play.
President Lincoln was President Bush's 7th cousin 5 times removed. And Bush shared more than just a ballot with John Kerry. That's right, they're 9th cousins twice removed. Trace the family tree far enough, and you get Madonna, Celine Dion, and Tom Hanks.
Like, when are we going to start to realize that maybe not everything is a conspiracy theory and there's a much deeper meaning? Because there's probably so much evil in the world that gets passed by because everyone's like, oh, nah, they would never do that when they're clearly doing that.
This is a real photo of a man in a gimp suit running around terrorizing people in the UK. One woman reported hearing heavy breathing in the bushes, and then this man came out touching his. He would jump out at his victims and try to attack them. However, whenever his victims would scream or make loud noises drawing attention to them, he would run away and disappear into the woods. You can understand how this is scary. One of his victims was walking through a park at night when this huge guy in a silhouette rubber suit was running towards her. He was grunting hard like he usually does and just acting extremely odd. A few of his victims were men as well, and one man actually got a video of him crawling out of the woods covered in dirt for some reason. After many people were coming forward about this weird attack, he would be identified as a gardener by the name of Joshua Hunt. Let me show you the video the man got of him crawling out of the woods.
Ex-NBA player exposed how the league really satanic and what it take to be a superstar.
Bro, like, some superstars took a different route. I ain't get on here to talk about that much, but some of that shit come with some demonic shit, some dark shit, you feel me?
Look, we already know there's some weird things going on in the NBA. People getting arrested for gambling, rigged games, rituals. It ain't what you think, bro. What happened to the Negro League?
Oh, Ricky Williams, 1999, so you was the first dude to go through a humiliation ritual. And you know he got fired right after this season because he went 3-13. So they didn't butt broke you for nothing. You put on a dress like you was getting married to a cracker. For some money? Y'all was desperate, bro. Ricky D could take the plunge. Hey, yo! They said a photo shoot accompanied for the better or worse cover story, a metaphor for the commitment the New Orleans Saints made to the star running back after trading a massive haul of 8 draft picks for Goofy and got him on the 5th. Oh yeah, that was dumb. The infamous cover was met with tremendous negative backlash at the time, which surprised Williams because he himself for some reason thought he thought this was funny. Tika was fired immediately following the next season. So you did that for no reason.
I mean, I've been saying this in the last couple of videos and I'm going to stand on it. If a grown man is publicly wearing a dress, he is compromised. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. And, you know, there's a few exceptional people that probably just enjoy doing that. But, you know, like I said, we're not trying to see that, Tom Holland.
Morbid Facts, Part 778. In the 1950s, doctors at Tulane University, led by Dr. Robert Heath, conducted one of the most disturbing neuroscience experiments in history. They implanted an electrode into a woman's brain, right in the region responsible for pleasure, and gave her a button that let her trigger it whenever she wanted. The result was terrifying. She began pressing the button non-stop for hours, then days, completely abandoning her family, her responsibilities, and even basic hygiene. She refused to eat or sleep, ignored everyone around her, and focused only on getting another jolt of artificial euphoria. She pressed it so obsessively that she developed an open, bleeding sore on her finger, but kept going anyway. When doctors finally took the device away, she begged them to give it back, became depressed and agitated, and even showed withdrawal-like symptoms because nothing in real life gave her pleasure anymore. The case horrified researchers so badly that human pleasure center experiments were largely shut down because it proved that if you could manually trigger happiness, it might destroy your ability to live without it.
Explaining the theory of the Men in Black. Okay, I'll tell you right now that this theory doesn't have much to do with Hollywood movies. According to believers, there's a secret organization responsible for covering up any trace of UFOs, alien encounters, or strange lights in the sky. These mysterious agents, known as the Men in Black, are said to appear right after someone witnesses something they shouldn't have. There are countless reports of people being followed, threatened, or silenced by them. One of the most chilling stories happened in 1968, when a couple of American ufologists had their home broken into, and the only thing stolen were their UFO research files. Soon after, they began seeing strange figures watching their house. A friend who tried to investigate even captured what's believed to be the first real photograph of a man in black. Since then, hundreds of similar cases have appeared, all describing the same tall, pale men with blank expressions and identical suits. So, the question remains, are they just an urban legend, or is someone or something still making sure we never learn the truth?
There are a lot of people that work for the government that we have no idea even exist, so this wouldn't be crazy to think that it's actually true. Could you imagine how terrifying of a situation that would be? You literally just seen some aliens land on Earth, and then you turn around and there's just some dudes in black outfits. You're just like, all right, bro, come on. Like, this is not even fair.
Proof that Hollywood is evil.
It was Bella throwing party, so I got invited from some other friends. It was on Halloween. I already don't celebrate Halloween. That's the devil's day, but I happened to be with them and they was going. I was like, fuck it, let's go. So it already was a lot of signs. The party said you have to be half naked. I'm like, first of all, I ain't going half naked nowhere. Second of all, it was like a lot of signs that was adding up.
We clearly hear Whoa Vicky talking about this party thrown by Bella Thorne on what was said to be Halloween. Not only were there a lack of a dress code, we'll call it, but listen to these other requirements to get in.
It's about, oh yeah, you can't bring your phone in. I'm like, first of all, who ain't bringing their phone in? I'm bringing my motherfucking phone in. I don't give a fuck who you is. It could be Kim Kardashian and I'm bringing my phone. And then you gotta sign some papers. What am I signing some shit for to get into a party? Like, what? This is where it really threw me off. They said they had to prick your blood to get in.
I also find it really coincidental that Halloween is said to be one of the most ritualistic, we'll say, holidays, and we have a party being thrown by one of the biggest influencers on that same night. When it comes to these Hollywood parties, we've heard of the phone thing, getting your phone taken, we've heard of the NDAs being signed, but this is the first time I've ever heard of the pricking your finger, and it's just really bizarre to me. At the end of the story, Whoa Vicky goes on to explain that she turned around, took an Uber, and left, but the rest of the influencers she was with went to that party. Comment below, let me know, am I onto something or am I tripping? Was Whoa Vicky exposing the industry? Wake up.
I don't know if y'all seen the video or what, but in Times Square, as a taxi driver was driving, the street collapsed. The street collapsed as the taxi driver was driving. I mean, you know how you're driving in the streets? Underneath the white lines, that shit, it cracked, everything cracked open in a square formation. Like everything cracked open in a square formation. I'm talking about you driving your car and you literally about to drive and go right in the hole of that square box. Luckily you had people telling him to back out. See, we are seeing the destruction. We ain't never seen shit like this happen before. But we starting to see the destruction accumulating. We're starting to see little glimpses and little mimics of what's going to happen in NYC. While everybody think everything is a game and a joke, the glimpses of what is going to occur and what is going to happen, the destruction that is coming, that is awaiting, soon will hit New York.
Artifact Part 36. Kim Kardashian's 2018 Met Gala photo, taken in front of the gilded coffin of Nedja Monk, caught the attention of the Manhattan DA's Antiquities Trafficking Unit. When investigators looked into the artifact's paperwork, they discovered the export documents were forged and the coffin had actually been looted from Egypt in 2011. The viral photo helped trigger the investigation that ultimately exposed the trafficking network and led to the coffin being returned to Egypt in 2019. When Yoshitaro Shibasaki and his team scaled Mount Sarugi in 1907, believed at the time to be Japan's final unclimbed peak, they were stunned to find ancient relics already waiting at the summit. A decorative metal staff fitting and a sword were discovered near the top, and later analysis revealed they'd been placed there over 1,000 years earlier. This 250-year-old mechanical swan still glides and bends its neck as if it were still alive. Built in 1773 by master showman James Cox and ingenious inventor John Joseph Merlin, the automaton uses hundreds of hidden clockwork components to make the bird preen, ripple the water below it, and even snatch a silver fish from the stream. In 1835, a man digging a duck pond in Margate, England, accidentally discovered the Shell Grotto, an underground chalk passage decorated with about 4.6 million seashells arranged across 2,000 square feet of mosaic. Most of the shells, mussels, oysters, scallops, etc., appear to have been collected from nearby Kent beaches, though some are foreign species. Its age, purpose, and creators remain completely unknown.
I would eat a human. If you were at a very fancy restaurant and they were like a tiny piece of human meat.
No. I think the only way
you wouldn't try a tiny bite?
No.
Really?
Absolutely not.
If the person okayed it,
I would eat a human.
When someone shows you exactly what they are, you believe them. We've got this clip and we've all seen the social media posts by this said person, and they are disturbing and very worrying. This person is clearly signifying and showing us exactly what they are, and the reason why they do it so comfortably is because they know that people will just pass it off as humour, choose to ignore it, and carry on idolising and thinking these people are great and continue to put them on pedestals. If people actually took the time to look into these things and started boycotting and ignoring these people who crave so much clout and attention and fame, then they would literally become irrelevant and go away.
I understand some people ask crazy questions just because, but like, why is she pressuring it so much? She's like, no, you need to try it. You need to. Like, no, we don't. Nobody wants to try that. Like, if someone says, oh yeah, here's a human cheeseburger, you want to buy it? I'm going to say no, I'm good. Like, are you sure? I'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty positive I don't want a human cheeseburger.
I now have pictures from Epstein's Island house. Remember, this was from his Manhattan townhome.
It was a creepy statue of a girl. Well, there's some not so off pictures from this Epstein Island estate. Here's another one of a pool area back there. Here's one of a study with a chalkboard until you get a little bit closer. And then if you look at what is written on this chalkboard, and I'm not sure what is blacked out, some of the things say power, deception, music. What is all that about? But then it gets worse. So he's got this room with a dentist chair in it. And inside this room are all these weird masks on the wall of men's faces. As you know, this is one of the places that was notorious from where he shuttled young girls to come and basically be sex slaves for all kinds of men. Can you imagine, like, what in the world are they doing in this dentist chair? What and why? And what is this? And you just had a dentist on hand? What?
You know a conspiracy that we never talk about anymore? It's Wayfair. Oh yes, the Wayfair incident. The glorious moment in summer of 2020 when the whole internet decided that a $12,000 industrial cabinet must contain a whole child. This was one that I never really believed, but I loved talking to people about it. But I mean, come on, in reality, anything crazy I love to talk about. And the reason I'm talking to you about it right now is because I actually had a conversation with a coworker recently about old conspiracies, the ones we still talk about and the ones that kind of just disappeared into the void. And this one came up. And I remember it. People saw overpriced storage units with names like Annabelle and Jessica. And it gets you thinking, why the hell is a cabinet $12,000? And why does it have this generic name that you could probably loop back to a missing child poster? And it's funny that we bring this up because I remember last year on Etsy, there was a bunch of paintings of, you know what, kids eating pizza. And these horrible Etsy listings that were just AI images, well, they were listed for, $12,000 to $22,000 to $50,000. And of course, it brought everyone's mind right back to the Wayfair thing. And for weeks straight, people were posting screenshots of those listings on Etsy. And then just like the Wayfair thing, it kind of just disappeared. But what are some other conspiracies that only lasted a few months and then just disappeared? Because I want to talk about some of those. Thanks for watching. Now go act normal in public.
Okay, well, this is a very real thing. I don't know why we want to keep acting like it's not. There are so many people that go missing every single day that are unaccounted for, and there's just no trace, nothing found. And it doesn't even seem to be very looked into. People be like, oh yeah, we're gonna look, and then nothing really happens. So it starts to kind of make you wonder, is there a bigger operation going on here? Yes, definitely there is. The system isn't going to look out for you, so you guys make sure you look out for yourselves, stay safe, stay blessed, because this world is getting really disturbing.
This is the creepiest urban legend that actually turned out to be true. In the 1970s, a film crew was shooting an episode of The $6 Million Man inside of an old funhouse ride called Laugh in the Dark. The ride was meant to be spooky. It was lined with glowing lights and creepy looking mannequins. But people began to notice that one of these mannequins looked a little too lifelike. Whispers started circulating among carnival workers and guests, and some said that the figure looked so real that it had to be an actual body. Eventually, these rumors turned into an urban legend claiming that someone had died inside the funhouse and had been turned into a prop. But nobody took it that seriously because it was just a legend after all. Until the camera crew arrived to film the show. When one of the crew members tried to move the figure from where it hung, the arm broke off. He later said it looked like beef jerky inside, and that's when the realization hit. This wasn't just a mannequin after all. Police were called, and it was soon confirmed that the prop was actually the mummified body of a man named Elmer McCurdy. Elmer was an outlaw from Oklahoma who had died 65 years earlier. He was killed in 1911 during a shootout with law enforcement after a failed robbery. After his death, Elmer was taken to a funeral home, but when no one claimed him, the undertaker refused to bury him without payment. After preserving his body, the undertaker, disturbingly, propped his body up and displayed it inside of the funeral home with a sign that read, "The bandit who wouldn't be buried." People would pay a nickel to see Elmer this way, and even more disturbingly, they would drop the coins into his mouth as payment. His body stayed on display like this for 2 years before 2 men showed up at the funeral home claiming to be Elmer's long-lost brothers. They were actually carnival owners. They took Elmer's body and began displaying him in their sideshows. Over the decades, it was sold and traded so many times that people eventually forgot it was a real human being. By the 1960s, Elmer's body ended up with a company that supplied wax figures and props to amusement parks. And that's when Laugh in the Dark got their hands on it. A real human body that they displayed as a prop in a spooky funhouse for children.
Okay, there's a lot of sick people involved in this, but who is paying to go see a dead person? Like, there's so many things you could do. Hey, Sean, you want to go get tacos? Yeah, I would love to go get tacos. Hey, Sean, you want to go for a walk today? Yeah, I would love to go for a walk. Hey, Sean, you want to go pay to see a dead body? No!
He knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television. Everything ain't for everybody.
When you get 16, you're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Man, you good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you haven't...
For all those in London that don't know what happens to the white man when he comes to a P. Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man. When they come to one of my parties, I put them to sleep. Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
Bad boy now.
Signing the bad boy.
Guys, you need to watch this to the end.
I've seen multiple people shapeshift into reptilians, not just one.
Pause. You've seen people shape shift
Yes.
into reptilians. Are you seeing this physically happen in the physical realm, or is this something you're seeing spiritually
In the
happen?
physical realm.
Like literally their body has shape shifted.
The one lady who hissed at me in the movie theater, it wasn't like her whole body turned into a reptile, but her eyes and her tongue turned into a reptile, like her face.
It's not just one person. Over and over again, credible witnesses, military personnel to Hollywood insiders report the same thing. People changing form right before their eyes. From a former air medic who says he watched a face transform into a theatre, to researchers who document plasma-like entities behaving with intelligence. What if these aren't isolated incidents, but clues to something else entirely? An agenda that's been hidden behind jokes, films, and what we call the normal world. Drop your thoughts and comments down below.
See, a couple years ago, I probably would have said this lady is crazy, but, you know, after everything I've seen now, I definitely believe her. You may say, Sean, you just be watching crazy conspiracy TikToks all day, so of course you're gonna believe it. Yes, but, you know, this world is actually a lot more disturbing than you think. I know it seems like I'm just, you know, kind of losing it, but I promise you I'm not. But, you know, you guys just, stay close to God and stay blessed, because, you know, that's all we could really do in this evil world.
Have you heard of the two-way app? The concept is that you can still communicate with your deceased loved ones.
Oh boy.
It's like they're FaceTiming, and the commercial is like she was FaceTiming with her mother that passed for new baby. Baby grows up, becomes like an adult, and then he's FaceTiming with his grandmother, and it's her voice, her likeness.
You take the app and you record a video of the person before they pass away. You have them turn to the side, you have them say a few sentences and words. That way the AI can take it and then make their own voice specifically for them, and then you upload that to the app, and then it creates this avatar of your loved one.
I hate that.
And you can have full-on conversations with it.
Their catch line at the top of their website says, "Human connection reimagined in the age of AI."
Not
human connection.
It's a robot.
You take them like almost like a personality test with it, and so you have your loved one sit down, they fill out a survey, and like crazy.
It's weird.
We are living in Black Mirror more than ever before.
I know.
Literally. Terrifying. No matter how weird we think it is, someone's gonna use it.
Well, it's not blonde, it's gray. It's like old lady hair. It's like gray. It's literally like grandma color. Okay. It's literally like granny gray.
Tiny bit, and I know a little tiny bit, but what I know I can't say. And
But you're working with Jessica.
I am working. I'm coming.
Has anybody been able to explain this situation yet? Like, how did Ariana Grande go from this to this in just a couple years? And I know a lot of people have been talking about her physical appearance and how her, Cynthia, and Michelle have been looking so frail lately, but I'm telling you, it's much more than that. We're talking about complete personality changes. She not only looks nothing like herself, she sounds nothing like herself, she acts nothing like herself, she walks nothing like herself. Well, do you guys remember during the premiere of Wicked, the Kardashians threw a sleepover party for Ariana Grande and Cynthia, where yes, they actually spent the night. Well, it just so happened during a tour, Kris Jenner accidentally leaked a $5 million Basquiat painting. And I have done many videos mentioning where Kim purchased the painting, which is a whole other rabbit hole. And here's the said Basquiat painting that Kim purchased for $5 million. And yes, even though Basquiat's artwork was sometimes chaotic and contradicting, it was full of Haitian voodoo symbolism. And his favorite deity to channel was Elise Dantor. Well, Elise Dantor goes by many names. She could also go by Urzuli or Black Madonna. Where it just so happens that in her favorite offering, she likes the color light pink. She likes sweet things and sweet pastries, pink roses, perfume, feminine jewelry, beauty, love. No one finds that even a little bit interesting? Okay, if you say so. Now, you don't think Kim Kardashian and her little sis were messing around with things they shouldn't have, do you? No, probably not. Just that one time where Kim Kardashian wanted to channel Marilyn Monroe, but I guess it's a good thing that she didn't get trapped like that.
It's Marilyn's here. So.
You can clone her.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, I'm literally going to do some crazy voodoo shit that I want to wait.
Okay, I'm tired of seeing this bald witch. I'm tired of seeing this BBL demon. And I'm tired of seeing Ariana Grande literally being held hostage right in front of our face. When is something gonna happen? These ladies are obviously up to absolutely no good. And everyone just watches along and acts like this is all normal.
You might not know the context of this clip, but a lot of people were concerned about what was going to happen in September of 2026 just because the vibe here feels off. And if you're one of those people that feels like the vibe is off here, then you're correct. The man seen here is Taleb Al-Abdul Mohsen, the man accused of the 2024 Magdeburg Christmas market attack that took place in Germany. At the hearing for this alleged crime, which by the way, he did admit to, he held up the laptop with a time frame, September of 2026. So a lot of people were worried that another attack was going to take place during this time. Now, while Taleb did not exactly clarify what he meant by this, we can assume that because of his extremely far-right ideology and Islamophobic views, he's probably referencing the 2026 Saxony-Anhalt election with a party called AfD, an extremely far-right party, hopefully winning in his eyes. So probably not an attack. In terms of the trial, we'll see what happens from here on out, but again, he admitted to being the person that was driving the car, so I don't really see a way out for him.
Humans are lucky that we do not exist at the same time as hell pigs. This extinct nightmare creature was taller than the average human and weighed as much as a small car. It was a mammal that was like a combination of a pig, a hyena, and a bear. But it's even worse than that because it's closely related to hippos and it can open its jaw just like a hippo. So you imagine this sprinting towards you in the middle of the forest and suddenly the name hell pigs makes total sense. Their teeth could slice and crush, and so we find bite marks in a ton of different fossils. But they also ate a lot of plants, roots, they did a lot of scavenging, just whatever was easiest, they ate. And so hell pigs, or Entelodontidae, were an extremely successful family of animals, lasting for over 20 million years. But if they were so strong, why did they go extinct? Well, it's kind of a mystery. Climate change definitely played a role. Forests turned into dry grasslands and savanna. There was also competition in the form of predators like the bear dog, which is exactly what it sounds like, and big cats, both of which were much more intelligent than the very small-brained hell pig. But there's something funky about hell pig fossils, which is that we find a lot of them around dried up watering holes. So one theory is that they just ran out of water. And so they went extinct 15 million years ago, which is of course very sad, but I can't lie, there's a little part of me that's kind of glad we don't have to share the earth with this terrifying creature.
I don't wish bad on nothing or nobody. I'm all about spreading love and positivity. But I think it's for the best that we live at different times in this thing because, me personally, I like to be able to go outside and, go for a walk and not have to worry about this thing. I like to wake up and be a respectful gentleman, not turn into something's breakfast. So
what Disney just did blew my mind. Did you guys remember the story I told you guys about the doctor that died at Disney Springs?
No.
At the Raglan Road. So a few months ago, a doctor, it was like a January
peanut allergy or something, right?
Yeah, peanut or dairy allergy, and they served her something with it. She died at the restaurant. It was a big deal. And apparently, this guy, the husband, is trying to sue Disney Springs or Raglan Road or whoever because they felt like they were negligent, which is totally fair for a widower. This is bad. This could happen again. But apparently, Disney is in court or whatever. They're having discussions because they say, listen, you've signed something that says you're not allowed to sue us. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. When did I ever sign anything? They said, well, in 2019, you signed up for a month of Disney Plus.
Shut up!
And in that contract says we are not liable for any type of thing. So you cannot bring any type of legal.
No.
You can't sue us through anything.
This is to go to the Supreme Court.
It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be crazy.
So when you do the accept the terms and conditions,
you
can never sue Disney for anything, even on their own property. If your wife dies,
yes.
Yo.
Did you notice the terrifying shadow on the wall when Cynthia Erivo played Jesus? No one realized she received 3 punishments for blaspheming God. Cynthia completely subverted the role of Jesus in the musical Jesus Christ Superstar. First, she changed Jesus' gender. Second, her accessories ruined the crucifixion scene. She wore elaborate long nails and overly ornate earrings. As punishment for her blasphemy, Cynthia's body underwent some unexplainable changes. First, during the crucifixion scene, she grew so weak she couldn't stand, and Adam had to reach out to steady her. This was definitely not pre-planned acting, as the organizers had stationed 2 bodyguards behind her. Their presence completely disrupted the stage's integrity, and they were there solely to ensure Cynthia didn't have an accident. Second, her shadow took on an eerie transformation. Look at that outline. It seemed to foreshadow that mocking God is an act of the devil. Third, her hands showed abnormalities. People had previously thought Cynthia's large-looking hands were just an illusion caused by her long nails. But this time, if you look closely at her hands, you'll see her fingers are eerily elongating. They should put an end to this farce.
Okay, somebody's gonna be burning in the flames because why do we have a bald witch playing Jesus? Let's be for real here. Who in their right mind wrote this and was like, yep, this is the person we need? Probably the worst idea you had. They just be letting anybody become a writer for Hollywood. As long as you're evil and have really bad intentions, oh, you got the job. No.
One of the questions that I often get is, can a elf on the shelf doll conjure up something? Now, you have to understand that these dolls are like any other doll. They essentially are a vessel for something evil or negative to inhabit. And when you are doing elf on the shelf, you are essentially dabbling in the occult. Now, this is a story I heard out of Austin, Texas. There was this family who lived in the suburbs of Austin. And the man was named Mike, his wife was named Donna, and they had a young son named Robbie. Well, they decided to get one of these elf on the shelf dolls, and they began doing harmless little pranks on Robbie. The wife, Donna, she thought it was just, really funny, and she was having a good time with it. Mike was kind of, I don't know if this is a good idea. Are we kind of dabbling in something we shouldn't? So this one particular night, they take the doll, which they had called Bernard, and they put it in Robbie's room. And they say, "Good night, Robbie. Good night, Bernard," and they leave the bedroom. At about 12:30 a.m. that night, they hear Robbie screaming, and he comes running into their bedroom. He's like, "Mom, Dad, the doll was moving by itself, and it growled at me." And they're like, "What are you talking about, son?" And he's like, "It was moving by itself, and it was growling." And Donna's like, "Well, I think Bernard's a friendly elf. I don't think he would be growling at you, trying to scare you." And she said the rest of the night, right, he was scared. He would not leave their bedroom. But, Donna at the time didn't really think anything of it. Mike, however, thought, maybe we've gone too far, we shouldn't be doing this. He tells Donna, and Donna's like, "Oh, no, it's harmless, we're not doing anything wrong." So a couple days later, they decide, we're going to take Bernard, and we're going to bring him in the kitchen, we're going to knock over some flour, and we're going to make, little footprints, he'd been walking around the kitchen, kind of making messes. So they get that all set up, and they go to bed. Mike wakes up in the middle of the night, and he hears what sounds like someone walking around in the house. So he gets up, and, he starts looking around the house. He doesn't see anything. He thinks, oh, maybe it was just the cat. He goes back to bed. The next morning, Mike wakes up, and on the foot of their bed is Bernard. And he's just sitting up, staring at him. And when he gets up out of bed, Mike goes into the living room, where he discovers like white little footprints that look like they've been, stepping in flour. And it's going directly to the bedroom, to the side of his bed. So Mike goes to his wife and was like, you know what, this is ridiculous. Like, you're playing a prank on me. I don't think it's funny. No more of this doll business. And he looks at Donna, and then he could tell, like, this wasn't a joke that she had played. So Mike decides, you know what, I'm taking this doll, I'm putting it in the garage in storage, and we're not playing with it anymore. So he takes Bernard, he puts him out in the garage in this box, and that was the last of it, or so he thought. A couple days later, he's sleeping, and he wakes up to beep, beep, like the horn in his car that's parked in the garage is honking. So Mike gets up, he goes out to the garage expecting to find someone having broken in or something, except when he goes in the garage, it's completely empty. So as Mike's exiting the garage and he's walking back to the bedroom, he said out of the corner of his eye, he's seen the shadow of something kind of move past him. And he said he hurried up, ran in the bedroom, and closed the door. The next morning, he wakes up. There is Bernard sitting on the foot of his bed, staring at him. So he takes the doll and he puts it back in the garage, except this time he puts it in a toolbox and locks the toolbox. Well, a couple days later after this, he said he went to bed and he woke up to the sensation of a burning feeling on his leg. When he sits up in the bed, he said he looked over and he seen this hooded black figure, and he said it was just standing in the corner of the room, and it was holding Bernard. And he said when he looked down at his leg, there were all of these scratches all up his leg. And he wakes up his wife, and when his wife, wakes up, whatever this is gone. But Bernard is there on the floor. And so Mike's like, you know what? We're getting rid of this doll. So he took the doll to the dump and got rid of it. And he calls up his friend, who actually was like a pastor at the time, and had him come over and do a blessing over the whole house.
Yeah, I don't know. The concept of having a creepy elf in your house that just walks around and, causes random disturbances throughout the day, doesn't really sound very holly and jolly to me. So I think it's for the best we just stick to the milk and cookies, because, I think we don't need an evil demon elf in the house.
The strange behavior of a woman during a press conference in the Oval Office of the White House has gone viral on social media, with many asking, who is she? It's Susan Dell, the wife of billionaire and Dell CEO Michael Dell. The couple recently donated more than $6 billion to fund American children.
Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite part of the video made you tremble in your boots, and we're going to be on to the next one. Thank you.